Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. I'm curious if you're a gamer out there, weigh in on this one, hit the thumbs up button now, and answer me some questions down below. Did you know that EA was for sale and the buyer was Saudi Arabia? Believe it or not, I didn't. So let's talk a little bit about where EA is on the sales process after shareholders approve it and whether or not it's going to make it through the regulators in the USA. Here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, this channel needs to grow, and only with your help can that happen. So double check you're subscribed to the channel, and if not, please hit that subscribe button right now. And as I asked before, hit that thumbs up right now so that we can get the engagement to grow the channel even faster. But as I asked before, did you even know this was happening? This actually surprised me, or at least I heard it and forgot about it, or just didn't care about what was happening. But EA shareholders have approved this deal, according to this headline, leaving only the US government able to block the deal, which they surely will, right? Well, for a lot of people out there in the audience, I would bet some of you are going, they need to not let this happen. Except I'm not sure that they will. The investment folks over in Saudi Arabia, especially with their sovereignty funds, are really starting to get aggressive about the American markets, especially when it comes to culturally influential elements like video games. Connor McCarr over at Eurogamer is the person that actually put the time in and the effort in to write this story, saying EA shareholders have approved the proposed $55 billion acquisition of the video game giant by Saudi Arabia and private equity firms, leaving only the U.S. government in the way of what would be the largest corporate buyout of all time. Except probably not really. We'll be seeing a bigger one here in the very near future, whether or not it's Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery or if it happens to be Paramount. But $55 billion internationally, that's huge. Now, this acquisition was first announced back in September, which is probably why I don't remember it. That would leave EA's 93.4% owned by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, or their sovereignty fund, a government wealth fund that is there to build infrastructure, attract businesses to Saudi Arabia, and to basically be the safety net for when they run out of their oil. Critics of the fund and this proposed deal argue that it's also used for washing the company's reputation, as Saudi Arabia has been heavily criticized over the years for human rights abuses. And while that may be true, I would say that they've done an excellent job of cleansing their reputation, but it's no different than every other country in the world who's been accused of atrocities still trying to do good things in their wake. Now, this acquisition would be made, if approved, with the assistance of Silver Lake, that's the U.S. partner side, and Affinity Partners, which is actually presented here, owned by Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of President Donald Trump. This firm, the same firm, is also involved in the hostile takeover attempt of Warner Brothers Discovery that, well, was being done by Paramount. Although, in a quick update, I'll say, as I'm to understand, Affinity Partners, Jared Kushner's firm, is actually pulled out of the Paramount deal, and Larry Ellison himself has stepped in to guarantee that the deal will execute, backing it with about $41 billion worth of guarantee, which is an awful lot if you ask me. It's worth noting that the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund will be a little low on cash after this particular acquisition goes through, perhaps marking the end of the spending spree that they've been on, and well, maybe that'll make more people comfortable with the fact that they're just not throwing their money around anymore, except on crazy construction programs like The Line, which I had recently heard may be at the end of the line at this point. Prior to this approval by shareholders, it's widely believed that the buyout won't be heavily contested. However, the increasing amount of sway Saudi Arabia has in U.S. industry has not gone entirely without pushback. A lot of people are paying attention, including yours truly. But in this particular area, I mean, how much worse could EA get? Video game unions have been very vocal in their opposition to this because, well, they are probably not going to be very pro-union, but as if you've been paying attention, neither have I. And of course, human rights groups are going to throw a stink no matter what happens. To be fair, as I said before, I don't think it matters who owns EA as long as the current leadership stays in place, because you're going to get the same set of bad decisions either way. But the comments section has not been without a few laughs, including the first one we see here, 5 days and 5 hours ago, saying, yes, money sounds great, excuse the blood on it. Of course, we have somebody else coming up with something brilliant, saying it's called a condiment. A majority of the additional comments here are basically saying that the Trump administration is going to let this pass through and EA will be naturally transferred to the ownership of the Saudi Arabian government. But I ask you, is this a bad thing? And I would like you to weigh in on it. So is this a bad idea? Could EA get worse? Is this a situation where perhaps because it's so culturally tied to the United States that maybe this one gets blocked? Do you think that whether or not there's involvement from Affinity Partners or not, Trump weighs in and tells the FTC to stop this or put a halt to it? Or do you think, like some of the commentators here in this particular article's comment section, this will be allowed to sail through because of the family relation? As usual, please take the time to let me know what you think in the comments section below. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya! Probably not playing anything from EA.